Anyway, it is cool in South Dakota right now. I live on a cattle ranch, and as Strawberry said, you need to write poetry about things you know about. So I write most of my poetry about my husband, who is a rancher, cowboy, and a calf roper, and a good calf roper. And you probably think I robbed the cradle, or else I'm windy. And I'm a little of both, but anyway, he goes to rodeo. He used to go to the U.S. calf ropings, and the finals was always at Ardmore and then Stephenville, and he won the championship in 2003 and 2008. So I have 2 horse trailers as yard ornaments, and but anyway, now he goes to these rodeos that they're called senior pro rodeos, but I call them old folks rodeos. And I went with him to Burwell, Nebraska, and it was just as hot as it is here today, maybe a little hotter, and it was humid. And I was sitting up in the grandstand with 7 or 8 other people that were there. And to pacify my time, I wrote a poem about and everything in this poem actually happened at that rodeo. There's a great association that old cowboys like to play. It's called a big reunion for the hands of yesterday. Now, it started out old timers, but now they call it senior pro. Well, they can call it what they want, but it's an old folks rodeo. Now, old cowboys still like whiskey or a can or 2 of beer, but they usually bring a grandkid along to help them drive and hear. And their gear bags look like drugstores, full of analgesic balm and magnets and Viagra and pills to keep them calm. And the chicks that used to hang around in 1962, well, we're now old hens still hanging around and usually in a stew. Well, I thought I'd like to take one in and see how they are run, and I found that old folks rodeos can be a lot of fun. It started with the crowning of this year's senior queen. I don't know the criteria, but it was quite a scene. The one they crowned had won her banner, fair and square, of course, but when she went to run her lap, she couldn't mount her horse. And thank goodness for the gate man. He helped her brace her feet while her predecessor pushed and pulled, and they got her in the seat. And the entries in the barebacks was pretty slim to none. The bulls and broncs was better, but no one covered one. They had 3 head of pickup men, green as they could be, but what the heck, you didn't have to work too hard, you see. And then came the tie-down roping. That's what they call it now. A friend of ours was injured, and he caught his calf somehow. He lumbered down, he flanked that calf, left arm went underneath, he yanked the string out of his mouth, but dang, there went his teeth. They found them when they raked the ground at barrel racing time. Those teeth was awful dirty, otherwise they were just fine. And speaking of the barrels, there is nowhere you would find any better horses, and they clock some real good times. But those horses turn the barrels better than the riders do, like when old Doblin dumped his mount up there at barrel 2. Another failed to make the turn at barrel number 1, but you know, gravity has shifted since the days when we were young. And thank God they left the team roping for the last event that night. I'll bet there was 300 teams, and it was quite a sight. It's evident that this event is sweeping across the land, but good old cowboys never roped with golf gloves on their hands. Now, I'm sure you've heard the story that every dog should have its day, and it's only fair that old cowboys should have a place to play. So if you crave excitement and you don't know where to go, may I suggest you go and watch an old folks rodeo.